So in a couple weeks, AG Bondi and the DOJ will be required to give an answer on what they plan to do with the nationwide vacature and the block of the ATF pistol brace / SBR rule. This is critical because we're going to finally get an answer on what they intend to do. So let's talk about what is happening. Now, before we jump into this video, I want to thank one of the sponsors of this channel, which is Attorneys on Retainer. When it comes to protecting yourself after a self-defense incident, I cannot recommend any other company other than AOR. AOR is a real law firm, so they will help you in a self-defense incident that maybe other companies would not. AOR has the best self-defense coverage on the market, but now they're adding a ton of new benefits that a lot of people have been asking for, and it's at absolutely no cost to you guys and anyone who signs up today or anyone who's already a member. The new perks include civil liability coverage up to $100,000, red flag coverage, which a lot of people are asking for, that's coverage up to $15,000, and then also expungement coverage up to $5,000. With the new association that they established with the state of Montana, which is licensed through the state of Montana, AOR can offer the most comprehensive protections that anyone has on the market. If you're already a member, you just need to upgrade your plan. You probably got an email already. It's 100% free to upgrade. It just takes a couple minutes. The only thing you have to do is you have to put in a credit card. It charges you $1 and then you'll get that reimbursed back to you. So again, 100% free to upgrade. And also for anyone who signs up now, you will be locked in at the price. The price will be going up in 2026 to compensate for all the enhanced coverage that they're now offering. So I highly recommend to jump on this now and sign up with AOR. If you're interested, check them out using the link down below in the detail section and also in the pinned comment. Also use code ARMEDSCHOLAR to get $50 off the individual sign-up plan or $25 off the family plan if you're interested. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about some very important news in the battle against the ATF and their restrictions on braced pistols and how they are trying to treat them as SBRs. Currently, there is a nationwide vacature on the pistol brace rule, and there are also multiple preliminary injunctions, which are protecting various 2A organizations and their members as well. However, now with the new Trump administration in power, in the recent executive order that he issued, to protect the Second Amendment, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decided to hold the Mock versus Garland case temporarily to get an answer on what the new administration plans to do on this issue. Now, the last time we talked about this case, I told you that the Fifth Circuit did grant that 30-day abeyance, but that is now set to automatically dissolve in just 2 weeks. That means that the AG's office will need to provide an answer to the court in just 2 weeks on what they have decided to do in this case and what their plan is on this issue of braced pistols and treating them as SBRs. This is critical because it will now tell us what direction the Trump administration, Pam Bondi, and the DOJ, and ultimately what the ATF plan to do with braced pistols. Now, you may recall that the ATF recently suffered multiple losses in various pistol brace cases. Not only did they have multiple preliminary injunctions granted against their rule, but recently Judge O'Connor in a district court in Texas issued a final merits decision, and that was in the Mock lawsuit, and he struck down the rule completely with a nationwide vacature. In his decision, Judge O'Connor stated that at the conclusion of the majority's careful analysis, they held that the final rule is properly characterized as a legislative rule, and it is relatively straightforward that the final rule was not a logical outgrowth from the proposed rule. Therefore, the final rule must be set aside as unlawful or otherwise remanded for appropriate remediation. Now, that decision was huge because it was a final merits decision that struck down the pistol brace rule entirely with a nationwide vacature, and that applied to everybody nationwide. Now, in response to that new decision, the ATF, which was then the Biden administration, and was controlled by the Biden administration, they appealed to the Fifth Circuit. Currently, all the briefs have been submitted to the Fifth Circuit in that Mock case, and we're waiting for oral arguments to take place in that lawsuit. There also was some interesting developments from the recent GOA interactions with the ATF right before the Biden administration kind of went out of office. The ATF was making statements that they believed they could still essentially restrict braced pistols as SBRs under the pure statutory text, and that was despite the nationwide block that was issued by Judge O'Connor. But right at the end of the administration, they walked that back, they changed some of the views on that, and then Trump issued the executive order to protect Second Amendment rights, and they said that they're going to do a comprehensive review of all the lawsuits and all the rules that were issued by the Biden administration. And then they had a notice that was filed by the AG's office to the Fifth Circuit, and it stated that they wanted to hold this Mock brace case in abeyance. They stated that following a change in administration on February 7th, 2025, President Trump issued an executive order titled Protecting Second Amendment Rights. Among other things, the order directs the Attorney General to examine various actions of executive departments and agencies to assess any ongoing infringements on the Second Amendment rights of our citizens and present a proposed plan of action to the President through the Domestic Policy Advisory to protect the Second Amendment rights of all Americans. And the order specifically directs the Attorney General, as part of that process, to review all rules promulgated by the Department of Justice, including the ATF, from January 2021 through January 2025, pertaining to firearms and/or FFL licensees. In light of that development, the government respectfully moves to hold this case in abeyance for 60 days pending review of the challenged rule. An abeyance will conserve party and judicial resources and promote the efficient and orderly disposition of this appeal, including by ensuring that litigation is focused on the enduring agency action and informed by the views of current agency leadership. Therefore, the government respectfully proposes that at the end of the 60-day abeyance period, the parties can provide the court with a status report regarding future steps in this case. Now, through that notice, the Trump administration identified that it's likely going to change its position on braces and change the position on what they want to do with this lawsuit. Well, the Fifth Circuit responded by granting the request to hold the pistol brace case in abeyance, but the clock is pretty much now about to end because there the Fifth Circuit only gave them 30 days. The order states that it is ordered that appellant's unopposed motion to stay is granted as stated herein. The appeal is obeyed until April 14th, 2025, at which point the abeyance shall automatically dissolve. Appellants are permitted to file a status report as stated in their motion. So the DOJ's office wanted 60 days, but the Fifth Circuit only gave them 30 days, and now that timeline is about to end, and the abeyance will automatically dissolve. And what that will now cause is for the Trump administration, Pam Bondi and her office, to finally give an answer on what their position is when it comes to pistol braces and this rule issued by the Biden administration. That means that this case will proceed forward, and in one way or the other, the AG's office will be forced to take a stand on this whole pistol brace issue. Recently, we've received multiple statements from the AG's office through the Chief of Staff that they will be changing positions in some of these cases, like the Peterson suppressor challenge that's in the Fifth Circuit, and they're going to be changing potentially their position in other cases as well. Her office has even stated that they will be investigating localities in states like California for their delays when it comes to issuing CCW permits. Those are all good signs, but of course, it does not guarantee that they will decide to take maybe similar stances and maybe try to get rid of the pistol brace rule in this lawsuit. We are also currently waiting for the response when it comes to the 80% rule because we got the Vanderstock decision from the Supreme Court. And because of that 80% rule by the Supreme Court, now really Pam Bondi and her office and the ATF and Kash Patel and all them, they really have all the power to essentially terminate that rule, revise that rule, rescind it, or just say that they're not going to enforce it. And really, we have to see what they want to do with that 80% rule now the Supreme Court has upheld what the Biden administration did prior. But right now, that pistol brace case is in abeyance, and that will terminate very soon. So the AG's office will be also forced to make a statement, at least to the Fifth Circuit. They're going to have to say something to the Fifth Circuit on what they plan to do in this case and what they plan to do with that rule. Now, one important thing to note is that the current abeyance does not impact the nationwide vacature decision that was issued by Judge O'Connor. That is still in place, and that will likely remain in place at least until the Fifth Circuit rules in this case, or at least until the Trump administration acts on this rule, maybe rescinds it or gets rid of it, or says that they are not going to defend this case going forward. But of course, if the Trump administration decides to proceed forward in this case, that will really tell us all we need to know, that they are not taking this issue serious, that they're going to continue with a lot of these ATF rules and infringements. And again, that will tell us a lot about what the administration actually plans, and maybe that they don't take the Second Amendment issue that serious. But let's hope within the next 2 weeks we find out that they have decided to end the pistol brace restrictions and that they're going to change course when it comes to this pistol brace lawsuit. So like I said, the clock is now ticking because the Fifth Circuit there only gave them 30 days. It's going to end on April 14th. The DOJ wanted 60 days, but they didn't get that. And so now they're going to have to answer to the Fifth Circuit in this case, and they're going to have to give us an answer on what their new pistol brace stance actually is. So as we get more information, as this unravels, I will let you guys know. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability. If you like this video and you like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm, and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of 2A news. But as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.